Welcome to this episode on psychology and human relationships. Today, we're going to dive into a fascinating yet somewhat unsettling topic: the dark psychology tactics that narcissists use to control you. We're going to break down 7 of these manipulative strategies in detail so you can recognize them and protect yourself. Please keep in mind that this is not medical advice, but an educational exploration based on psychological concepts. If anything here resonates with your life, consider seeking professional help. Let's start by understanding the context. Dark psychology refers to those manipulative strategies that some people use to influence others, often without the victim even realizing it. Narcissists, individuals with a personality disorder characterized by an inflated ego, lack of empathy, and a constant need for admiration, are masters at these techniques. Not all narcissists are intentionally evil, but their behaviors can be deeply destructive. Now, let's get straight to it with the first tactic. The first trick we're going to explore is love bombing. Imagine meeting someone who, overnight, floods you with attention, gifts, constant messages, and declarations of eternal love. It sounds romantic, right? But in the hands of a narcissist, this is a tool to hook you quickly. They do it to create emotional dependency, making you feel special and unique. At first, everything is perfect. They call you all the time, plan dream trips, and make you believe you found the love of your life. However, once you're caught in their web, the narcissist begins to slowly withdraw that affection, leaving you craving more. This contrast creates an addiction-like cycle, similar to a drug, where you desperately try to recapture that initial phase. Think of a relationship that starts like a fairy tale but soon turns into an emotional roller coaster. Narcissists use this because they know humans respond to intermittent reinforcement, like slot machines. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, but you keep playing. If you've experienced this, you've probably wondered what you did wrong when the love suddenly vanished, but in reality, it was part of the plan to control you. Moving on to the second trick, gaslighting, a tactic that makes you doubt your own perception of reality. The term comes from an old movie, but in practice, it's when the narcissist denies obvious facts or distorts the truth to make you believe you're crazy or exaggerating. For example, if you argue and they insult you, later they might say, "I never said that, you're making things up." Or if they forget an important promise, they convince you they never made it. This erodes your self-trust, making you depend on their version of events. Over time, you find yourself apologizing for things you didn't do or questioning your own memory. Narcissists use it because it gives them power. If you don't trust your own judgment, you'll trust theirs. Imagine living in a house where the lights flicker and someone tells you it's your imagination. Eventually, you stop trusting your senses. This trick is subtle and cumulative, like drops of water wearing down a stone. It also appears in work or family settings. A narcissistic boss might change instructions and then blame you for not following them correctly. Recognizing it is key. Keep a record of conversations or events to anchor yourself in reality. Now, let's look at the third trick, triangulation. This involves bringing a third person into the dynamic to create jealousy, insecurity, or competition. The narcissist might compare you to an ex, saying things like, "My ex was so much more understanding than you." Or they might flirt with someone else in front of you, just to see your reaction and reinforce their control. In group settings, like a family, they might team up with a sibling against you, or at work, praise a colleague to make you feel inferior. The goal is divide and conquer. By making you feel threatened, you seek their approval more desperately. Think of a triangle where you're the unstable vertex, always struggling to keep balance. Narcissists love this because it feeds their ego when they see people competing for their attention. A common example is on social media, where they post ambiguous photos with other people to provoke you. If you fall for it, you end up arguing about the third party instead of addressing the real issue, the manipulation. To counter it, focus on your self-esteem and don't play the comparison game. The fourth trick is projection, where the narcissist attributes their own flaws or negative behaviors to you. If they're unfaithful, they accuse you of being paranoid and jealous. If they're selfish, they call you selfish for asking for time for yourself. It's as if they look in a mirror and see your reflection instead of theirs. This frees them from responsibility and loads you with guilt. Psychologists explain that narcissists project because they can't handle their own flaws, their fragile ego rejects them and transfers them instead. In a conversation, you might end up defending yourself against accusations that actually describe the narcissist. Imagine an argument where they say, "You're always manipulating things," when in reality they're the ones doing it. This trick is powerful because it makes you introspective in a toxic way, questioning whether you really are the problem. In therapy, this is very common. The narcissist projects their anger and makes the partner feel guilty. To protect yourself, look at the patterns. If the accusations don't match your character, they're likely projections. Let's continue with the fifth trick, the silent treatment. This is when the narcissist completely shuts down, ignoring you for days or weeks as punishment. They don't respond to messages, avoid eye contact, or act as if you don't exist. It's a passive-aggressive form of control because the silence creates anxiety in you. What did I do wrong? Do they hate me? You seek reconciliation, apologizing for imaginary things. Narcissists use it to train you to avoid behaviors they don't like, such as questioning their actions. It's similar to conditioned punishment in animals. The silence is the invisible whip. In romantic relationships, it can be devastating, leaving the victim in emotional limbo. Think of a child being ignored by a parent. The adult narcissist replicates that to dominate. Sometimes they combine it with brief reappearances to give hope, prolonging the torment. If you experience it, remember that the silence says more about them than about you. It's their inability to communicate maturely. The sixth trick is hoovering, sucking you back in, like a vacuum cleaner. After a breakup or distance, the narcissist reappears with promises of change, nostalgic memories, or even fake emergencies to draw you back. They might say, "I've changed, I need you." But once you return, the cycle repeats. They do this because they hate losing sources of admiration. You're their narcissistic supply. This trick exploits your empathy and hope. Imagine an ex contacting you on your birthday, reminiscing about happy times, only to manipulate you again. It also happens in toxic friendships. They disappear and return when they need you. To avoid it, set firm boundaries and remember past patterns. Blocking contact is often the best defense. Finally, the seventh trick, emotional manipulation through victimhood. The narcissist presents themselves as the eternal victim to gain sympathy and control. They tell stories of past traumas, exaggerating or even inventing them, so you'll care for them and excuse their behavior. If you confront them, they respond, "After everything I've suffered, you treat me like this." This reverses the roles. You end up comforting them instead of resolving the conflict. It's effective because it appeals to your compassion, but it's a facade to avoid responsibility. Think of someone who always has a tragic excuse for their mistakes. In the long run, it emotionally exhausts you because you're constantly in savior mode. Recognizing it means noticing whether their victimhood is consistent or only appears when it's convenient. We've explored these 7 tricks: love bombing, gaslighting, triangulation, projection, silent treatment, hoovering, and victimhood manipulation. Each one is a control tool disguised as a relational dynamic. Narcissists aren't always consciously aware, but the impact is very real. To protect yourself, build your self-esteem, set boundaries, and seek support from friends or therapists. Remember, you're not alone in this. If this episode has helped you, share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for listening. See you in the next episode. Take care.